Good morning, everybody. It is October 20th, 8:30 a.m. I was on vacation, just got back, and let's get into this. Give me 1 second here. All right, let's get into what's going on in the markets. Crude, we got crude up 1.94%. We'll just go over the ones that we talk about in here. ES is up 0.49%, and Q up 0.39%. And let's see, TNX is down, dollars down. Interesting. Interesting. Okay, let's go over some strong stocks, the laggards, the leaders and the laggards. And we got Baba. He's right now up 1.45%. Nvidia up 1.13%, and Coin up 0.93%. We got who's the laggards here? Of obviously Tesla with the not the best earnings, down 5.64% pre-market. Nothing else really down on my list here besides that. Going to the top sector stocks, Qualcomm is up a percent, Twitter up a percent, and then you got some oil stocks with Chevron and Exxon up. Laggard is Procter and Gamble. That's really it as a laggard. Sectors, strong sectors. There's oil, energy, up 1.24%, communications, and then followed by technology. And we got laggards, no surprise here, discretionary, which is Tesla, Amazon, Home Depot, and then that's really it. Everything else is pretty much positive. Leader being energy. So let's go into this market. All right. So I was away, but obviously I always kept my mind on what the market was doing. Periodically, it was very volatile. Basically, this market does not know where to go right now. It's a very indecisive market. Yesterday clearly had a doji candle, which is indecisiveness. And what we got in the SPY here. So you can see here in the SPY, there's some confluence here of where we found buyers yesterday. Okay, that's a horrible drawing, but I'll just go to my pointer. Actually, be probably easier. So we had a trend line from this low, found was supportive yesterday, along with the 9 EMA on a daily, along with the 20 moving average. You see how all those were supportive yesterday. So let's just say you had a trend line on your chart. You didn't have moving averages. Maybe you bought there, right? Or you just had the 9 EMA daily. Maybe you bought there, or the 20 MA. Very interesting, right there. Okay. Now let's go over to the Qs. Now the Qs, you can see here, dip below this trend line, obviously weaker. And also, when I was not here, the day before, you see in the Qs this trend line right here. It was honored here, and then it hit it here in the Qs, which had, when it hit that, it was resistance. Okay, and yesterday you can kind of see the Qs is kind of in between the 9 EMA daily and the 20. It's like in price was in between the two. It's like ping ponging off the two. It's very interesting, right? So let's look at the SPY just as far as the most traded prices in TOS. I can show you this in the SPY, and can show you what I'm talking about, what I see. So in the last week, in the last 5 days, this is the most traded price, right? Called 367. Well, this is also the most traded price of the last month. 367, 366.66, or 367. I'm going to say 367, right? So everybody who watches my streams knows the most traded prices are very important to me. Okay, and this area becomes a wall. Okay, and it's the bull bear line. We're going to get a big move. Don't know when, but we will. So we're coiling up energy here. Coiling, 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 and then eventually it's going to poof. Okay. So this level 367 in the SPY is very key. Okay. Very key. And you can see back here all this trading has happened. Okay, and you can see here all the trading that's been happening here, and hence why I don't have to look at that. I just look at the most traded price here and the most traded price here, right? I don't have to look at that, but that's why I know, right? Let's look at the Qs. You're going to find a similar situation. Okay, most traded price the last 5 days right here. Most traded price of the month right here, and that level's 269. Call it 270. Okay, same thing, coiling, 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 and then it's going to pop up or it's going to pop down. Okay, so 260, 270 in the Qs. That's the important level to look at. Now, of course, I'm going to go into the futures, go a little more into granular in it, but I just wanted to point those out, right? So let's look at that TNX, the 10-year yield. Okay, still trending higher. And as I'm speaking, just got a pop. It was just negative. Now it's not. Now I know the Philly Fed manufacturing index just came out. Let me see. Did that do something to the market? Let me just look at that number. Whoa. Okay. So that was negative 8.7, expected negative 5. Okay. What did that do to the market? Well, let's see. Just that's a negative number, so it's a big miss. So I'm going to get into that. But just TNX rising, right? That's our leading indicator. Smart money's there. Let's look at the VIX. VIX has been trending down a little bit, but in the last couple of days it's been holding in a range. Dollar has also been in a range. Okay. So let's move over to those futures to see what's going on there. Okay. We're at parity basically. So just like I showed you in the SPY, you guys know I do the most traded price of the week and the month, and I track them. So in the ES, okay, as you can see, right here is that big wall. Okay, so the most traded price of the month, we're looking at 36.90, and the most traded price of the week, 36.90. This is our line in the sand. Okay, very important level. Very, very, very important. Okay, same thing I just explained in the SPY. We hang out below here, the move was to the downside. Come up here, the move's to the upside. We're coiling, okay, just like a spring loaded. The more energy, the bigger the move. The more time the spring has to coil, the bigger the move. Okay, this is ultimate balance. Okay, whenever the most traded price of the week and the month match up, you're gonna get a big move from there. That's just how it works. That's ultimate balance. Okay, now let's look at what I always look at. Let's look at this composite profile here. Now check that out. Now in a sense, you can see, let's see, we typically you want to see a bell curve, right, with even distribution. Well, here you have not a lot of volume down here, but then you have a lot of volume up here, right? That's basically a profile version of a bull flag, because even distribution would have excess up here, so it would kind of look like this, right? But we don't. So the move is to the upside probably right now, but it's not a prediction. It's just, if we're going to make a complete profile, the move is to the upside, right? We've been holding value up here, above here, this important wall, right? Price is right here right now, 37.05. Okay, so there's not a lot of intricacy with this level. It's pretty straightforward. This level's the bull bear line. Okay, line in the sand. Now, this was yesterday's range. This is the overnight range. This is price right at the midpoint of yesterday, 50%. That doesn't tell me nothing. All right, doesn't tell me much. It tells me balance. It tells me indecisiveness. It tells me the bulls and the bears are fighting. No one's winning. Okay, and it's right around yesterday's most traded price right here, called 37.07. So that does not give me any clue what's going to happen today. Okay, but we have a weak low here, call it 36.77. Weak lows are right here. We made an overnight low here, and yesterday's low is here. So this big wall, like I talked about, 36.90, if we come under here, find acceptance, and we can break this low with volume, this is not a good thing. All right, market's going down. Okay, now it's very balanced session. Okay, midpoint's here, price is here, doesn't tell us much at all. Okay, so my plan's gonna be very basic. Okay, the other thing I see up here is we have pretty much weak highs up here, call it 37.76. Okay, because you can say almost, okay, this is a little bit of a range right here, a little bracket range right here. Okay, where we're more to the downside of this bull bear line, right? And you can see up here, we really need to pop up here and to make a move to break this. Okay, so that's that. All right, so let's go over to the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ has the same thing. Now, if you're the first time watching, this is the bull bear line of the NASDAQ right here. Okay, I track both 24 hours, and I track the real-time trading hours, which is 9:30 to 4:15 in futures. So when I have a purple box, which is right here, and the green box here, that's tracking from the real-time trading hours, and I'll just pull that up really quickly in the NASDAQ right here, so you can see that these levels are accurate for my real-time trading hours. So I don't want to confuse anybody. Okay, but I track them both. But right now, ultimate balance, just like in the ES, right here, that level is let's call it, let's see here, right in the middle of it here. Let's call it 11,100, 111. Let's call it that, 111. All right, that's the area in the NASDAQ. So right here is that bull bear line in the NASDAQ. Okay, now you don't have as perfect as the weak lows like we saw in the ES. You don't have as perfect as the highs you have in the ES. Okay, but that's the line. All right, we have a gap up here. We partially filled it, but it's up above us. Okay, and I'd say maybe this is the range right now, and the Nasdaq. Okay, now very simple again. Okay, that's very simple. Bull bear line. We're coiling. We need to break, fill that gap to go higher. We need to break here. We need to break down here. Okay, that's really it for the Nasdaq, because we're just balancing, right? So here is the difference, right? Nasdaq's weaker because look, it broke yesterday's lows in the overnight and went down here. Okay, here's yesterday's high and low. Here's the overnight high and low. But price is right here, right in the middle of the most traded price of the week and the most traded price of the month. It's crazy. The levels are magnets, I'm telling you. I mean, you're gonna watch me every day. You're gonna see how these levels are just so important. I feel like they should be on everybody's chart. I know they're not, but it makes you not do anything. Like from these levels, just to give you guys an example, like I would never usually enter something in the middle of this because you're gonna get chopped up. That this would be my target, right? I wouldn't initiate a trade here. I have to wait to break this zone and hold it for me to initiate something. Break it to initiate a trade. Never initiate a trade in here because you're just gonna get chopped. It's not a good time to initiate a trade. Okay, so that's the big level, right? And we're right in the middle of yesterday's range right now. We're at the mid. I'm sorry, we're at the mid of the overnight session. So you can even say it says mid right here, and price is right here. Okay, not telling me much again. And we're at the most traded price of the week and the month. So it's very, very, very much in balance. Okay. Obviously, Tesla not having the best earnings, it has a decent weight. Okay, so that could have a little bearing because it's really only the biggest negative stock that's down. Okay. All right, let's get into the future charts. That's the hourly charts. I like to go into them. Give me one sec. All right, let me bring you over there. Let's get it nice and zoomed in. All right, so as we're speaking, that Philly Fed Manufacturing Index had an effect in a negative way, obviously. All right. All right. So let's look at some levels. Okay. So this came into a supply zone here just now and found selling. Okay. So we're back to this murky area. Okay. Let me give you guys some perspective, and I'll put the most traded price of the month on this chart right there. All right. All right. So I just wanted to take in what the Philly Fed Manufacturing Index might have had on the market, and it's having a negative effect. So let's look at some levels. Okay, this level 3720 was resistance for a bunch of candles here, and I could maybe still say it is because it didn't really hold above it. Okay, it was broken. It was broken. And what I'm going to do now, as you guys are seeing, since that level was broken, I am now going to move this level up because it really matches this level now. So I'm going to really move this up now. Right there. so now 37.29 becomes our resistance level. Okay, what else do we have above? We also have 37.39's resistance. 37.53 is a major resistance. 37.53, 37.74. Those are our resistance levels. Okay, now you all know this is the bull bear line. Okay, big support level 36.77. Okay, support, 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 support. That level falls, there's not much below us. This is not, because you have this meteoric kind of like one-way trading up. Okay, it's not gonna hold. There's not much support down to 36.35. So if we break this, most likely destination 36.35. Okay, I'm watching this. Let me get rid of this because that's old. Okay, so that's the levels for the ES. Okay, we do have a trend line. Just to point this out, I'm going to point just the trend lines out. So you have trend line from this low. It's been supportive once and twice. Let's see how the trend line works. Pretty cool how they all act in confluence. See how the trend line lines up here, right by the most traded price of the month. So if we break that, if we break the trend line, just think about the confluence here. If we break the most traded price of the month, if we break this trend line, and we break 36.77, that is a short. A lot of confluence. Okay. All right, let's move on to the NASDAQ. Let's zoom in for you guys. Nice and zoomed in. All right, let's look at that. Let's look at our levels. Okay. Now, this trend line in the NASDAQ in supply zone right here acted as resistance. So you see the trend line started here, had it hit here, and then get honored again here. Okay. And what an indecision here. Look at this candle. High and low here. Very indecisive candle. Okay. So here's our bull bear line. Very clearly, right here, right, everybody? You can see that. That's the wall. That's the wall. Okay. So our resistance area is 112.08, 112.90, 113.77. Those are our resistance, overhead supply and resistance. Okay. Those are our walls, or resistance above us. Now, this wall here is very important. Okay. So we also have a trend line. Okay, so same thing, right? Confluence. Okay, now our support level, our key support level is 110.16. It's been support all over here, all the way here, and here, 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 here. Okay, 110.16. So just like the ES, right? We break this wall, we break this trend line, we break this demand zone and this support. That's a short to 108.78 support. Okay, that's why these levels are so important, and they also work in conjunction with the trend line and the support. If that gets all broken, there's not much. Think of how many buyers are there, right? They're going to cover. They're going to get liquidated. That's a big level. So to the downside, it's more clear in both the NASDAQ and the ES what happens if we get weak. The downside. Okay. Now another pattern, I didn't really point it out as much, what's happening here with this trend line is there's a descending triangle here forming. So we got the trend line, That's a horrible trace of my trend line. We've got the trend line here, right? And then we have this support line. And what happens is we could start filling this in and then breaking. Okay, just pointing out that pattern. All right, let's move over. I'm probably going to be a little rehashy with this. And I just made up a word. But let's go over to the market profile. And we'll go over what I just talked about. All right. Of these levels, how important these levels are. All right. Man, this market's just so indecisive. All right. So, this is going to be very, very, very basic and just going to go on the premise what I just told you guys, but I'm just going to rehash it. Okay. Line in the sand, bull bear. Call it 36.90, 36.92. We break it. Okay. We could open. We're in just in the middle of balance. Okay. So this is really hard to get through. But if we manage to open, come down here and break this. Okay. This has got monthly VWAP here too. That's going to be supportive as well. But if we come down and we can break this overnight low, probably get some support here, try to come up and come down through, that's a short. We're going to go down. We're going lower. With volume, we're going lower. Okay. And then we have, what do we have overhead? 37.39. Okay. That's really our key level above 37.39, 37.53 above us. Okay. So if we're able to open up, come up here, break the overnight highs. Now here's the test. 37.39. Okay. If we can hold it and push up, there's the test right here. 37.53. If we break that, we could possibly move to 37.34 up here. Okay, but if not, we're gonna fall back into range. And we're gonna balance. And we're gonna balance more. Okay. And lastly, just to talk about big possibility here, because I said this is ultimate balance, right? So we also can come up, come back, and balance. We also could come down here, break this, not hold it, and come up and balance. Very, very real possibility of that. So you don't ever know when this big move is going to happen, right? You just don't know. But we'll wait. It's coming. It is really coming. Okay. Nasdaq. Okay. Let's go to that Nasdaq. All right. Bull bear line. Right here. I say in the middle of it. 111. Right? 111. That's our line. Price is right here right now. Right in the middle of all this traffic. Picture that as traffic, right? You don't want to get caught up in there. That's a chop zone. Okay? This is the chop zone. Okay? So we all know bull bear line. Hold above it, probably going higher. Hold below it, we're going lower. Okay? But in the more granular sense, okay, this is what on the plan for today. If we can hold below the bull bear line, come down here. This support level I said is very key. Okay, if we come down here and we break it, come up to it, can't go above it, we're going lower. Okay, we're going to at least 108.78. Okay, I can't get any more simple than that. I also explained in the hour charts it's going to break a trend line, and it's just a lot of confluence there. Okay, on the daily chart also, we're contending with the 9 EMA daily on both charts. That's acting as support. Just to keep in mind of that as well for everyone who watches that. Okay, so the other thing here is we got a key resistance level. Got key resistance levels here on 1208. So we need to get price over this wall, okay, and really see if we can hold above it. Because if we can, a major resistance level is the 112.90. And again, just like in the ES, we break it, we're going to go to 113.77. If we can't, we're going to go back and probably bounce. Okay, simple scenarios here. And lastly, we can always do the good old balance, where we come down here, drop below it, can't hold it, come back, balance. We can come all the way up, break this, try to break this, come back, and balance. Okay, good possibility. Keeping that spring coiled. Okay. All right. So first day back in the saddle. So I'm gonna be patient, and I wish everybody good luck today. Give me a like, subscribe, share with your trading friends. Um, I will see everybody tomorrow morning. I hope everybody has a green day. All right. Take it easy.